What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog. Continuing our party week with Mardu Party. Alright, this one we got the 3 copies here of Kitesail Cleric, 1 mana 1/1 Cleric Flyer. Kick it for 4 to tap down 2 target creatures when it enters. 4 copies here of Bloodchief Thirst, just one of the premier removal spells. 3 copies of Acquisitions Expert, 3 mana 1/2 Human Rogue. When it enters, the opponent reveals a number of cards from their hand equal to the number of creatures in your party, so enter from 1 through 4. You have to choose one, and that player discards that card. 3 copies of Nullpriest of Oblivion, just a fantastic card here. Cleric, 2 mana, 2/1 Menace Lifelink, kick it for 6 total mana, and return a creature card from your graveyard straight to the battlefield. 2 copies of Thundering Rebuke, just solid removal here, sorcery speed to deal 4 damage to a creature or a planeswalker. Obviously, the instant speed is a little bit more desirable, like a Scorching Dragon or things like that, but I think 4 damage is a little bit more important, so we're going to run Rebuke instead. 4 copies of Stonework Packbeast, just making sure we can flesh out our party with whatever piece that we're missing, as it is a Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, and a Wizard. So all 4 copies here of that. 2 copies of Skyclave Apparition, just solid removal here. 3 mana 2/2. We can exile any non-land, non-token permanent, mana cost 4 or less. 2 copies of Elspeth's Nightmare, 3 mana, destroy a creature an opponent controls with power 2 or less. Then your opponent's going to reveal their hand. You get to choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. They can discard the card, then we get to exile our opponent's graveyard. 2 copies of Ardent Electromancer, just kind of looking for some wizards and electromancers. One of the better options here in Mardu colors, so this is where we're at. 3 mana 3/2. So not terrible. When it enters, we get red for each creature in our party. So it'll be anywhere from 1 to 4 red mana. 2 copies of Shatterskull Charger, Warrior. 3 mana 4/3, trample haste. If it's kicked, enters with additional +1/+1 counter on it. So 5 total mana, becomes a 5/4 trample haste. And if it doesn't have a counter on it, you return it to your owner's hand. 2 copies of Legion Angel, 4 mana 4/3 Flyer, Angel Warrior. When it enters, reveal a card you own named Legion Angel from outside the game, put it into your hand. So we've got 2 here in the main and 2 of these in the sideboard. 2 copies here of Squad Commander. Obviously, I'd like to run a little bit more, but we kind of want to diversify and kind of make room for some other things, so just 2 copies, unfortunately. 4 mana 3/3, enters with a 1/1 creature, a warrior creature token for each creature in our party. And if you have a full party, creatures you control get +1/+0 and indestructible until end of turn. Thundering Sparkmage, 4 mana 2/2 wizard, deals X damage to creature or planeswalker, where X is the number of creatures in your party, so it'll always be at least 1. And this has actually been pretty useful for getting rid of some smaller creatures. And if your opponent is running planeswalkers, then you can also at least, if not kill them, then you can at least kind of ping them down to kind of keep them in check. And finally here we got 3 copies of Zagras. Zagras is really a good card. All of our creatures have Death Touch, so even our Skyclave Apparition, which is not part of the party, still gets in on the Death Touch action. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a planeswalker, destroy that planeswalker. And otherwise it's a 6 mana 4/4 Flying Death Touch haste that costs 1 less for each creature in our party. Mana base here, we do have the Agadeem's Awakening, which we can use as a sorcery to get our creatures back from our graveyard to the battlefield. Otherwise we can have a black mana source. Got 2 plains, 2 swamp, 2 mountain, 3 Brightclimb Pathways, 2 Temple Silence, 2 Temple Malice, 4 Needleverge Pathway, 2 Temple Triumph, 4 of the Savai Triome. So we got 10 total tap lands, more than we would like, but we do need all the fixing, so it is kind of a necessary thing that we have to do. But we're trying to play our deck fairly aggressively, but we have plenty of 2-drops and efficient removal spells, so it should generally work itself out. Sideboard here, we've got the Draenith Magistrate Wizard towards our party mechanic, and shuts down both Escape and Adventures. 2 copies here of Agonizing Remorse. We're going to look at our opponent's hand and exile something. We lose 1 life. 2 copies of Banishing Light if you need just some utility removal and exile removal. Legion Angel, the 2 copies from the main and 2 in the side. We're just going to leave that there at all times. 2 copies of Shatter the Sky for those sort of go-wide strategies. We can kind of slow roll some of our creatures and just kind of clear our opponent's board, and hopefully we can rebuild better than they do. Another way we can do that is Outlaws Merriment against removal-heavy matchups, more grindier matchups. We can bring in the Outlaws Merriment because we're going to get a Warrior, Cleric, or a Rogue at the beginning of our upkeep. And, it's going to have some keyword abilities, Trample, Lifelink, Haste, things like that. So nice value in those grindier matchups. Against the mill type strategies, we got the Thwart the Grave as we get 2 creatures back from our graveyard straight to the battlefield. And final here, one copy of Ruinous Ultimatum. Since we are in Mardu colors, you know, we have plenty of ways to kind of grind out matches if we feel like we're in a matchup that we're going to be able to cast this for 7 mana. So obviously not the super aggressive matchups, but more of the sort of mid-rangey type matchups. Then we can kind of bring in Ruinous Ultimatum and have a one-sided board wipe. All right, that's the deck. We'll jump into some matches. All right, begins BX Boris 916. It's an interesting hand. I basically just need like a black mana source and we're good. There it is. Temple, yeah, Bloodchief Service is pretty sweet draw there. Alright, so play this on black. Get our Nullpriest down. And we'll see what our opponent does as far as how we want to do our turn 3. We could go double white for the Skyclave or double red for Shatterskull. Okay, opponent showing mono black so far, but no creatures. Ayara. Okay, that's probably something we'll want to exile. Skyclave, come on down. So I'm probably on some kind of a mono black devotion list then. I'm assuming typically how you see Ayara played these days. So the other ways to play Ayara, just more straight up creature builds, but nobody really seems to do that anymore. There's another red source. So yeah. What's Electromancer? And Shatterskull Charger? Seems pretty good. Could have also Packbeast and then hope for untap land off the next draw, but I think we're in a pretty decent spot here. Obviously, mono black could have lots of removal. Great, Willow Strider is a little annoying. Missing double black to Bloodchief Circe, unfortunately. So hopefully we find a Triome or something. Or Temple is what I was really thinking of, but Triome will certainly do the trick. Sparkmage, come on down, blow up the Willow Strider. They can sack in response to get a Scry. But then they'll be taking a bunch of damage if they do. They can always block the Electromancers 3. Looks like they're taking 4 here, down to 7. And we're in the driver's seat here. If they just play a creature, then we got the Bloodchief first, and probably a good game. I mean, the Sparkmage already done its job, so yeah. Go ahead and kick this. I'm not sure how they survive this, but we'll leave them to figure that out. They do not. Okay. So mono black. Okay, Woe Strider, Ayara, and Demonic Disciple. That's interesting. Especially when you don't have anything else to cast. Remorse is interesting. It's a kind of could be a grindier matchup. See, Ayara is a 2. Yeah, 2 power. But then Woe Strider and Disciple are 3. Grey Merchant is a 2 powered. Didn't really see any removal from them, did we? I mean, they're mono black, so they've got to have like Heartless Axe and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure we need the Outlaw's Merriment though. But Thwart the Grave is probably worth it. At least 1 copy. Maybe Expert's pretty medium. Try it like that. Alright, so they've seen what our deck is trying to do. Pretty straightforward at this point. But we don't know exactly what the rest of their deck is composed of. Like, we didn't see any removals, so not sure what kind of kill spells they're running. Creature-wise, if it's more mid-rangey, it's kind of the way it presented itself, but I mean, this is a hand. A bit slow, but we do have some good removal here, so we're gonna give it a go. Okay, Triumph. So we'll play at least 2 Triumphs, maybe keep 1 for cycling. Maybe keep multiple for cycling. It's kind of slow to do that, so we'll go and play it out. I mean, our deck can certainly be pretty mana intensive at times, so we'll save the 3rd one for cycling once we get a good spot later on. Opponent's not doing anything, so they'll probably be able to kill this, but need to get some removal out of their hand at some point. So obviously looking for something not a land. That's fine. Go Legion Angel on 4 into Shatterskull on 5. Kicked. Or we just hold up a bunch of removal. Like, I never understand why people do like that with like Plaguecrafter and stuff like that. It's like, cool, you just paid 3 mana to kill my thing, but you didn't add to the board either. We've seen like 0, 1, and 2-drop creatures for them, so I'm not really sure what the Disciple is for. But you know, people did that a lot with like Plaguecrafter too. They would have like no creatures and then just play a 3 mana thing on what's an empty board for them just to kill one thing. Like, sure. I think I'm fine with just running another Angel out and Temple. Alright, looking for non... Yeah, I can get rid of the Murderous Rider, I guess. Let's see what they have here. If they're stuck on 3 lands, they could just play the Murderous Rider as a 2/3. Which puts us in a bit of a weird spot. But probably just Elspeth's Nightmare just to get that off the board and then take a look at their hand. But no, they're choosing not to play it. Let's play this on red. I think we're pretty balanced at this point. We're going to kick. Crash in for 5. There you go. Opponent down to 9 already. Like, sure, you Demonic Discipled, but then you're not actually doing anything else, so cool. Alright, a lot of lands. Looking for something not a land. Yeah, not plains. So we have some good removal for when they do finally decide to add to the board. Like these and Plaguecrafter, like they're good if you have other things you can sacrifice and actually get some real value off of them. Otherwise, just like, do you have some graveyard recursion? Maybe. I guess that would make sense if you did. Maybe Agadeem's Awakening, but we've seen none of the sort. Just none of the sort from our opponent. Yeah, we'll rebuke that. And I think we've got so much lands here we can cycle now and see if we find a playable card. That's not bad. We got 2 of their cards. They have 5 cards in hand, plus the Murderous Rider off in exile. I don't know why it keeps highlighting Murderous Rider. It doesn't. It's not really a big part of this decision, I would imagine. Yep, they're just a Grey Merchant deck. So if they find untapped land, they can Grey Merchant and then gain like 2 life. Nope, just eliminate. So starting to see some more removal from them. Charger, that should seal the deal here. It's enough mana to kick a Shatterskull Charger and then Nightmare or Apparition, whatever it is they play. Yep. Yeah. Grey Merchant's a 5-drop, so we can't Apparition it, but we can certainly do that. And we've got mana to do that. So yeah, Mono Black Devotion taking him down. Nice start. Alright, up against Stumpy 1044. I mean, we got 4 lands. We got the Temple here, so we're going to try to square our way into some earlier action. Not that. Uh-oh. Kept a slow hand versus Knights. Alright, well now we found a 2-drop. So we're not going to be blocking here. Now we got the Triome on 3 into Sparkmage on 4. Hopefully get some value off of it. Boros Knights. They're going to kill my Nullpriest here instead of playing a creature. No attacks. So they'll hold up some removal here. Shatterskull is interesting, but I don't think it's worth it. So I'm just going to play out the land, and we're going to attack. Huh. I guess they want to play it cautiously. Claim Contender with a Knight on board, so they get to dig for a Knight, Aura, Equipment, or Legendary Artifact. And they find Basri's Lieutenant. That's going to be a bit of a problem. We don't have good answers for that. Alright, we're going to play the Commander here, just to maybe Sparkmage this Acclaimed Contender next turn. So we have Cleric, Warrior, and Wizard. So we're missing Rogues. So the Packbeast would be pretty helpful here as well. So we have double red, so we can also kick a Shatterskull Charger. Alright, 4 mana for a Fireborn Knight, 2/3 double strike. Okay, Cleric could be pretty useful. Double strike seems pretty scary, so we're going to do that. We just play the Cleric just to punch through in the air. I don't think it's fast enough, so I think we're better off just holding here. They can double block the Nullpriest and block, and then we have to kill the Venerable Knight, and then they just grow the Reclaim Contender. I don't think it's worth it. I don't want to lose my squad commander when we're so close to doing some nasty stuff here. Alright, well, pacifism is actually one of the better things they could do, so still got a Cleric on board. Now they have a 2/1 on empty board. I think I'm actually just fine swinging out here. 2 mana, they could have a spell to make us regret this. Take out our squad commander. No, they just hold back. So they want to wait and get some value. But we got Charger plus Cleric here, so we're representing 3, 4, 5, 9. We have exactly lethal here. So they just have Basri's Lieutenant and nothing else. But they have 2 mana open, so we won't know that for sure. But they didn't have anything there. Okay, they tap out. Beautiful. We will kick our Kitesail Cleric and win the game. 3. Yep. It's 9 damage. And we have mana to play the Charger here as well, unkicked. Whew. Alright, against Knights. So we're probably going to want some more... Elspeth's Nightmare is nice, but if they're running stuff like this... So I know they have like 3 and 4 and 5 powered dudes, so Nightmare is probably not as good. Shadow Sky is me pretty clutch. Ultimatum maybe could be useful as well if we get into a little bit of a board stall. Didn't see too much removal from them. So maybe Banishing Light, but Apparition kind of hits, well, everything but that, whatever that was. The Grasping Giant. We can take out, you know, Basri's Lieutenant and everything like that. So all the stuff we're mostly worried about. We have the Bloodchief Thirst here as well. I think Rebuke. I guess you could make a case to take out Rebuke for Banishing Light, so we're going to do that. Because if they play a Basri's Lieutenant, they can make it put the counter on it and make it a 4/5, and that's out of range of our Thundering Rebuke. So Banishing Light just a little bit safer. Overall, we have plenty of 2-drops anyway, so we don't mind making that change. On the draw, I think we can keep this. Obviously, we do need double white for the Shatter. Nice having our opening hand, so we can kind of plan around that. But it's a bit awkward having to choose between red or white. We're going to have to choose white just for the Shadow of the Sky. But we still have a black source guaranteed, so Bloodchief's Thirst. Nullpriest. Okay, they give us a target here as well. Oh, and they mulligan, so we're a reasonable spot. Since we don't know what our draws are going to be, we're going to fire this off just to soak up damage here. They can still flood the board pretty nicely against this. So we'll just go ahead and keep their creatures at bay and just kind of force them to really flood the board here. And if we get stuck on lands, then at least we have some help. All right, so we need double white, so definitely want to play that on white. Nullpriest here just to get our threats down. I mean, Zagras, and the fact that our opponent's not really doing a whole lot means that we can definitely kind of be the aggressor here potentially. But yeah, they have removal. Scorching Dragonfire, Youthful Knight. Right. Could play an Electromancer just to get a 3/2 down, but their first striker does more good. I mean, if we can resolve a Zagras, then I think we can just kind of take over the game. So we're gonna go ahead and chance it here. We are going to chance it. I mean, we certainly have some time here to. Opponent's certainly given us some time to build up our board state. Don't really want to fire off a Banishing Light when we have a Shadow of the Sky. It's not quite clear which direction we want to go in. Could just might want to slow roll our creatures and just shatter, and then you know, start playing our dudes. Now that we're drawing lands, we're definitely get a little bit clearer picture of which direction we want to go. But yeah, I guess we just take 4 here. I'll try to get the Rimrock Knight next turn, I guess. Packbeast. I mean, we're still close to Zagras. I think we're just gonna fine with firing these off. They can't block. No, we're just gonna take it. We're just gonna start pushing through. We got Zagras coming down next turn, unless they have some removal. Basri's Lieutenant. Put the counter on the Youthful Knight. It's a good call. So getting punished for not banishing that earlier. Do we want to take 6 down to 10? I guess. Okay. Now we're doing some stuff. Still think we Zagras and put a clock on them in the air. So we got we got our Zagras down, so we're not as worried about our party. So now we'll start making some blocks. Oh, they tapped us down, hitting for 9. That's brutal. Not gonna lie, that's pretty brutal. They're missing double white to actually cast their thing. We can crash in for 7/9 here, put them at 4. Shatter the Sky. Oh, they'll get it. No, because they'll get a 2/2. Yikes. I could have attacked there, but then if they have removal, then we're just dead. Assume they swing both here. When you equip the Basri's Lieutenant, I'm assuming you're doing that to attack with it. Wow. Alright. Sparkmage. Take out one of their creatures. We'll swing with Zagras. It's possible they're running some equipment that would give them flying. Oh, they found a white source. Okay, so they can block our Zagras now. But they're at 9, and we potentially have lethal if we're able to answer both of their creatures somehow. All our creatures do have Death Touch. So we are representing lethal. So they kind of have to make some blocks here, and they're going to be losing their creatures. No counters, so no replacement creatures. Yeah, I think I'm fine with just swinging out here. I have to block. They could 2, 4, 7. They could just block Zagras here and take 7, go down to 2. So they can kill one of our creatures here with Basri. But we have Death Touch, so we're going to kill their creature. Wow, go down to 1. Packbeast. And I think we kind of have to play Zagras here. Keep you. So if they answer our Packbeast, then we don't have a way to... well, we need a flyer, obviously, to block their Ardenvale. Assume they just suicide here. So we had the Shadow of the Sky if we needed it, but our opponent had to mulligan and got off to a bit of a rough start. So adding to the board ended up being the correct call, although maybe going back and watching it, maybe it was a case to just shatter, but we got there in the end. All right, Mardu party. Yeah, obviously we have lots of good removal options at our disposal. Wow. Bloodchief's Thirst. We got the Thundering Rebuke. We're bringing this in here just to kind of balance out some of the removal, so not just playing like overloaded on black mana spells. So we don't have just giving us more flexibility, so we can actually say like on turn 4 we have the Nullpriest, and we can still Thundering Rebuke instead of being choked on black mana and not being able to play a creature and a removal spell, things like that. Skyclave Apparition, just a 2-of since it is double white, but it is pretty powerful. And even though it's not a party member, it still gets Death Touch with things like Zagras, so it fits in pretty nicely that way. And Elspeth's Nightmare seems like it's pretty solid answer in the current meta. Electromancer, we're needing to find some room for wizards, and we do have the Rebuke that we can kind of profit off of the red mana. Same thing with the Shatterskull Charger here as well. And depending on your board and your mana base, you can even maybe, if you have a black mana open, you can even get a Zagras off of an Electromancer. It's not going to happen very often, but it certainly has happened. Obviously, we like to run more squad commanders, but I think Spark, just with where we're at with wizards, having to play things like Sparkmage, and then I think the Legion Angel is still worth it. Just a real powerhouse. 4 mana, 4/3 flyer in the air that draws you another Legion Angel from your sideboard. This card is really powerful. It seems like flyers are pretty effective in most of the games that I've played, especially with lots of removal. So even if your opponent does have like a Nightmare Shepherd or whatever other kind of flyer that can kind of jump block you a little bit, we still have ways of dealing with it, for the most part. And then Zagras giving you everything Death Touch, that's super important. So that's why we're running 3 copies here, even though it kind of looks expensive at 6 mana, but it's often going to be a 3 or 4 mana play for you, and that's a fantastic rate for everything this card, everything that Zagras can do for us. And since we are kind of forcing some of the wizards, things like that, we do need to run all 4 Stonework Packbeasts here just to make sure we can kind of fix our party here, so we can get maximum value off things like Acquisitions Expert and Squad Commander and the Sparkmage, which Sparkmage I've been really pleased by. Definitely feel happy running at least 2 copies, but that 4-mana slot is a little tricky with the Squad Commander Legion Angel already, and we're trying to be a little more kind of aggressive and flexible, if you will, by playing some of these all these 2 and 3 drops. We do have the Cleric, which is a 1 mana spell, but can also be a 4 mana spell here as well. But yeah, sometimes just having a 1 mana 1/1 flyer on 1 can be pretty powerful, put you in a pretty good position to close out games pretty quickly, especially with our efficient removal package here. Sideboard wise, I do like the run of Ruinous Ultimatum. Definitely feel like there's games you can definitely get up to the 7 mana. And we have the Triome, so I mean that the fixing here shouldn't typically be a problem. And obviously we have access to things like Outlaw's Merriment, which are really helpful in certain matchups. I don't really think it's main deckable because it is very slow. There's still tends to be a creature heavy meta, so I don't think Outlaw's Merriment really fits in the main deck. But in the right matchups, Outlaw's Merriment is fantastic. But yeah, Agonizing Remorse, we do have the Acquisitions Expert in the main, so I think just having something like Remorse, giving you a little bit more hand hate. Banish Light, just kind of a flex utility. It could be something else if you aren't the biggest fan. Obviously, there's certain decks that just don't have ways of interacting with enchantments, and so that's perfectly fine. And then Thwart the Grave, we're a little bit light on kind of anti-Miltech, so Thwart the Grave is kind of our answer. It also kind of helps us out with any removal heavy matchups as well. So that's kind of where I'm at with Mardu Party. Definitely feels pretty reasonable overall. These first few party decks that we've showcased this week, I think they're all reasonably playable on the ladder. But that I mean pretty much anything up to gold and platinum, I think they can hold their own. But if your primary goal is to rank up to mythic and things like that, then not necessarily. There's plenty of other decks you can look at for that. You don't need to be on my channel looking for answers if that's your primary concern. We're here to kind of play around cards and synergies that don't really see a whole lot of play. Don't get a whole lot of love and try to shine a light on them because the ladder isn't everything. Magic is still magic. So yeah, as always, if you guys have any suggestions for this deck or something you want me to build around, let me know. Otherwise, until next time, make sure you guys jank with purpose.